EW there?
All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Thanks
Welcome
for
to
joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. We were just bantering back and forth on why in the world they, when you were with WWE, they decided to change your name and bring out the first initial, I guess, in case people couldn't figure it out. What was the reason?
With the Christopher W. Anderson debacle.
Right.
Was one night, I don't how it all started. One night, I don't remember where we were at, but I'm standing there talking to Paul, and Paul was trying to get me to move up the ladder, so to speak. He was wanting to get me some matches where I go over on Stevie Richards, Shannon Moore, blah, blah, this, that, and other. He says, but there's going to be a problem. I said, well, okay, what's that? He said, Vince doesn't like your name. I said, well, what's he thinking about changing it to? He said, well, he don't know yet, but here's the problem, CW. He said, and trust me, he said, this is Vince speaking. He said, he thinks calling, you being CW Anderson and we got CM Punk, they're going to get you two guys confused. And with, you be, again, being CW Anderson, that they're going to confuse you with the CW network. So I said, okay.
Isn't that the same reason why they had Shane Helms change his name to Hurricane Helms, or Gregory Helms, sorry?
Because of Shane McMahon. But I said, well, Paul, really, I could see that. Me and CM me and Punk look almost alike. He's got long black hair, and I got no hair. He's, kind of tall and slender, and I'm not tall and slender. He wears trunks, and, I don't really wear trunks. So, yeah, I can see all those tattoos. We look alike.
You got all those tattoos going for you as well,
Yeah, all the tattoos and the shitty work, I had all that going for me. But the other thing I said, the CW Network, man, it's amazing that, I've been CW Anderson since 1993, and when they were doing promos for the CW Network, they were having celebrities do my CW hands that I invented. So, yeah, I can see the total confusion on that.
Well,
oh, wow.
That is
the insanity of working for Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So, CW, Shane here. So, what exactly have you been doing since, you've kind of stepped out of the wrestling scene since WWE released you, I think, in 2007?
Yeah, January. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I said I know you did the show for Francine a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what has CW been up to?
So when I got released, the day I got released, I was ecstatic. Johnny Ace called me and said, CW man, we're gonna have to release you, and I went, sweet. I was like, thank you. Can I go back to Japan now? And he goes, well, yeah, you can go back to Japan, just don't go to TNA. I'm like, well, no big deal there. I said, well, because I love being in Japan. So I went back to Japan, did that for a little bit, and their business really got crappy about like it is here in the States. When I first started in Japan, there was only a few wrestling promotions over there, not many indies. I think a total of like 14, and right about now there's in the 60s of wrestling promotions over there. There's so many, it was saturated. I took a year off last year, 2008. Got married, got a real job, doing what I was doing before I went to ECW the first time, which was land surveying. I was a crew chief, and, I was making more money land surveying than I was when I was working with WWE. So, I love being at work. I enjoy doing that, and then put on a lot of weight because I wasn't working out anymore, got really out of shape, and got released in January from my job because of the economy, got back in shape, and started wrestling again. I went to Germany a few months ago for the GSW International Impact. And then I did, Francine's benefit show a few weeks ago where I worked with Too Cold Scorpio.
Now you said you got, you gained a little weight. I saw on your blog that you're all about, what's that, the CP 500 with the high bow on steroids?
P90X. Well, yeah, it has nothing to do. It has nothing. This is not wrestling, so it has nothing to do with steroids. So,
right.
it's called P90X. It's basically an intense home boot camp workout, where it's basically push-ups, pull-ups, and working out with bands and stuff like that. If you got weights, fine. If not, they make adjustments for that. But it's just an intensity workout, and with doing different things, and it's something that if you commit to, it actually works. But like a lot of programs that people get, they think it's going to be a quick fix, and then they get bored of it. But I'm right at almost 180 days of doing it, and I've lost over 40-some pounds now with it. And then hell, when I was playing college baseball, I wasn't the size I am now. So it's something I swear by, that you don't have to be in the gym every day trying to look like a gas monkey to be in shape.
Now, CW, this is Demetrius here. You just mentioned college baseball. I read that you played some. You actually did you get drafted by the Padres? Is that true also?
Yeah,
all right.
Catcher in 1989.
All right. So what was behind the decision to become a professional wrestler versus going the baseball route?
Baseball was my first love. I didn't care one thing about wrestling, and it kind of fell through once I got hurt, and once I was trying to rehab, and my arm never got back like it used to be. 18 years old, I was very influential by my parents, and they kind of talked me out of signing because in 1989, this is before the explosion of Dominican players and the Dominican catchers. Me being a white catcher with a great arm, that was a rarity. So they didn't want to sign me for much. It was like $25,000 to go start out in rookie ball and go from there. So my mom talked me into going to college, and once everything fell through. Wrestling was a mistake. I was actually looking something to do on the weekend and run into a buddy of mine that was doing the little independent stuff that everybody does now. And I actually saw him at McDonald's. He was an old friend of mine, and we talked, and he told me what he was doing, and went to a show with him early one day and got in the ring and kind of got hooked. Growing up here outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, it was as I always call the hotbed for National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA, and I did go to watch wrestling. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I wasn't the Steve Corino mark or the Tommy Dreamer mark where I knew, what tights Jack Victory wore when he won this belt. That's how bad Steve Corino is with one member. So, but I just kind of fell into it, and I got hooked on it. I had that wrestling bug. It bit me, and I was hooked for a long time, up until I started not getting paid from ECW and started falling out of love with it.
Yeah, speaking of ECW, CW, this is JLB speaking. I watched a lot of ECW back in the day, and one of the best things I think that went on in ECW during the final days was the I Quit match you worked with Tommy Dreamer. I was a big fan of that match. I have actually a copy of that match here at home, and I was wondering, because I know you mostly from ECW, and our fans, they watch a lot of ECW, and we've discussed it at length at times. And I was wondering what personally your favorite moments, or if you have any favorite moments of working in ECW. And as I know, it kind of went under, at the hands of Paul Heyman, and it went bankrupt. And I was just wondering, what were some of your favorite moments working there?
It's kind of, you can go in two parts with that. The wrestling part of it would have to be, the first thing was I got a standing ovation from the ECW arena, working Super Crazy, and I think that match was put up on YouTube, and they got like German commentary to it. I saw that the other day. It was one of my defining moments as far as in the beginning, because I was still with the Dangerous Alliance, and me and Crazy finished our match. We had a great series of matches, and I got a standing ovation from the ECW arena. And it's one of those moments where, if you get from those people as hard as they've been on everybody, because, that crowd has seen and everything when it comes to professional wrestling. And for them to give you, a standing ovation means you've done something. And I think the other one that I put over the most was at the end of my match, I shake Tommy's hand, and I'm walking back to the dressing room. And as I'm walking down the aisle, there's 3,000 plus fans at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and they all start chanting CF and Dub. they start chanting my name for the match.